Today we're going to talk about a fashion film that we put together for a local brand here in Toronto. The local brand here is called Ashea Moore. It's by a friend of mine, and he commissioned us to work on a project that was going to be used for their launch campaign. First thing was figuring out what the story was going to be behind this whole project. So we landed on individuality. After speaking to the owner, we realized that individuality and sense of self was really important to them. So we decided to incorporate that into the fashion film. We had each model speak on what individuality meant to them and to also speak on their talent outside of this modeling thing. Since this was a smaller project, I was the director and DP. From the director's side, I had to make sure that the talent was doing and saying sort of the things that were going to align with the story, as well as I had to put together a director's treatment so that everyone could be on the same page. From the DP side, I had to make sure that the camera angles were the way I wanted it, as well as the lighting, so that we could push the look that we were going for. The day by far was not an easy one. We were supposed to capture 3 different campaign videos, as well as photos with a bunch of different looks, and we only had 6 hours. I wanted to have a sort of new feel, a new look. I didn't want to go with the traditional composition when it came to the interview scenes. I also wanted the lighting to feel really soft. So this project used a combination of the Zcam E2S6 along with the Super Takumar vintage lenses for the interviews and my Rokinon 12mm lenses for the B-roll. This look was achieved way before we even got on set. I knew for sure that I wanted it to be a square aspect ratio, as well as I wanted our talent to feel almost isolated in the frame. So we positioned them to the left axis of the frame. Any moments of vulnerability. All right, let's get into some lighting. For our key light, we use the IntellyTech LiteCloth 160. We put the softbox and the grid on there so that we can control the spill. And then we wanted to spread that light so it could become a nice soft wrap on our subject. To do that, we used a 4x4 silk frame that was held up with a C-stand. So by shooting that IntellyTech through that 4x4 silk frame, we were able to get a nice soft spread across our subject's face. Now, our shadow side was looking a little too dark, so we decided to pop a 5-in-1 diffuser right under the talent's face so that it could reflect any light for a bit of a fill. For our hair light, we used a Amaran 100X bicolor light. We put it on a cooler color temperature so that it could contrast the warmer key light that we had. We didn't want any harsh hair lights, so we decided that it made sense to put the lantern on to soften things out. Behind the couches, we popped our Godox TL60s. We set them to a green tone or blue tone, depending on who the subject was. That way, we were able to add some ambience to the room and give it a really interesting look and feel. Now, generally, I don't like lighting with RGB unless it's motivated, but since this is a fashion film, we thought it would be interesting to get creative with the lighting and mix in different colors to emote a certain mood or feel that could be applied to any one of the subjects. One thing that helped push this look was attention to detail. Once we had our key light, our bounce, and our hair light, as well as our ambient lights with the tubes behind the couch, we realized that the couch itself wasn't illuminated enough. So we boomed another Godox TL60. We set it to a cooler color temperature so that we could pop the couch out a bit. So we just shined that on the couch to give it a bit of pop, and we used a 4x4 flag to cut it off the wall. That way, there was no spill on the wall, but the couch was illuminated. Overall, the interview frames looked amazing because of the lighting as well as the lens selection. We decided that we wanted to go vintage to push a nice soft look, but also a look that felt almost surreal, that it brings you into a different world, a different feel. And I think we achieved that. Moving on to the B-roll. We shot that on the Zcam E2S6 as well, but we paired it with the Rokinon 12mm lens. This is my widest lens that we have, so we decided to use that to shoot a lot of the B-roll. We wanted the interview to feel vulnerable, but the B-roll to feel like you're on top of the world. So we decided to go with a wider angle lens. We wanted each of the B-roll sequences to reflect the artist or talent that was going to be on front of the screen. So for our urban explorer, we weren't able to actually go up on the roof and get the shots that we wanted, which were going to be her urban exploring. So instead, we decided to have her look through the clothing and be able to pick out different outfits and try them on and have fun in the space. For our artist, we decided to have him pretend to record a track. We thought it'd be pretty cool to show him in his studio space. So we set up a table with a laptop and a mic, and we got him to start performing, and it actually ended up being really cool. Looking back on this project, the video with the artist had a lot more attention to story and detail because we had a lot more time, as well as we weren't restricted in terms of what we were able to do and use. Regarding the Urban Explorer talent, we weren't able to go up on the roof like we had anticipated so that we could shoot B-roll of her and get more of an exploring feel. So we had to use some footage that she already had on her Instagram, and then we decided to tie it in with that VHS look so that it fit the aesthetic of the project, and it actually worked out. Now, the third campaign video was an interesting one. We wanted to mesh the two stories of individuality, but also incorporate the owner of the brand, Jamal. So we had Jamal get an interview as well, and we used his story about individuality and why he started the brand to wrap into the overall brand campaign. All in all, this project went really well. The photos also came out amazingly, and everything fit the aesthetic that we were going for to the T. And the biggest reason why things went so smoothly was because of the extensive pre-production. From the treatment to the shot list to our lighting diagrams and anything additional on Millinote, all of these conversations and meetings that we had to execute on this project is what got us to a project that actually looks really high-end and really dope. And to be honest, we didn't have a budget like that. We had to just make use with what we had and pull favors. I would say for anybody that's looking to create something, go out and make it, especially if you want to get hired for it. Most importantly, make sure you take the time to put in extensive pre-production so that when you're on the day of the shoot, you're not guessing about what you need to be doing. You're able to hit things systematically. That's all I got for you today, folks. If you enjoyed this content, please feel free to hit like and subscribe for more, and check out this next video. But until then, I'm out. Later.